I swear I didn't mean anything by it. It was one of those throwaway jokes, the kind you say without thinking, just to get a laugh. We were sitting on the cracked bleachers behind Lincoln High, the sun dipping low, painting everything gold like life was simpler than it actually was. Jake had just shown me a picture on his phone, and before my brain could catch up with my mouth, I smirked and said, "Man, your mom's kinda hot." For a second, everything went quiet. Jake didn't laugh. He didn't even blink. The air shifted, like something invisible had cracked between us. I expected him to shove me or throw a sarcastic insult back, the way we always did. That was our thing. But instead, he just stared at me, not angry, not even annoyed. Just hurt. "Don't," he said quietly. That should have been my cue to apologize. To laugh it off, say I was kidding, move on. But I didn't. I shrugged, leaned back like it was nothing. "Relax, man. It's just a joke." Jake stood up slowly, dusting off his jeans like he needed something to do with his hands. "Yeah," he muttered. "You joke a lot." And then he walked away. I remember thinking, what's his problem? It wasn't that serious. We'd said worse things to each other. That's what guys do, right? But that was the first moment everything started to unravel. Jake didn't show up to school the next day. Or the day after that. At first, I didn't think much of it. People skipped. Life happened. But by the third day, something felt off. Jake wasn't the type to disappear. He had perfect attendance, straight A's, the kind of kid teachers brag about. By Friday, rumors started spreading. His mom's sick. No, they're moving. I heard something happened at home. Each version got worse. I tried texting him. No reply. Calling him? Straight to voicemail. I even swung by his place that weekend, but the house looked different. The blinds were drawn tight, like they were hiding from the world. There was a pile of unopened mail by the door. And his car, his mom's old Honda, was gone. I stood there for a while, feeling something unfamiliar twist in my chest. Guilt. The following Monday, I finally got an answer. It came from Mrs. Carter, the school counselor. She pulled me out of class, her expression softer than usual, like she was handling something fragile. "Jake's going through a difficult time right now," she said carefully. "What happened?" I asked, trying to sound casual, like I wasn't already bracing myself. She hesitated, then sighed. "His mother's been in and out of the hospital for months. He hasn't told many people. He's been taking care of her on his own." The words hit harder than I expected. On his own? She nodded. "She has a chronic condition. It got worse recently." I felt my stomach drop. All those times Jake skipped hanging out. All the times he said he was busy. The way he always rushed home after school. It suddenly made sense. And then, like a cruel echo, my own voice replayed in my head. "Man, your mom's kinda hot." I felt sick. "Is she okay?" I asked. Mrs. Carter's expression faltered. "She's in critical condition right now." Critical. The word stuck to me like glue. I didn't hear much after that. I spent the rest of the day in a fog. Every memory I had of Jake felt different now, heavier, more complicated. He wasn't just the smart, quiet kid I joked around with. He was someone carrying a weight I hadn't even noticed. And I'd turned it into a punchline. That night, I couldn't sleep. Around 2 a.m., I grabbed my jacket and drove to the hospital Mrs. Carter had mentioned. I didn't even know if I'd be allowed in. I just knew I had to try. The waiting room smelled like antiseptic and stale coffee. It was quiet in that eerie, late-night way, where every sound feels louder than it should. And there he was. Jake sat slumped in a plastic chair, his head in his hands. He looked smaller somehow. Like the world had shrunk him down. For a moment, I just stood there, unsure if I had the right to be there at all. Then I walked over. "Hey," I said softly. He looked up, startled. When he saw me, something flickered across his face, surprise, maybe even relief, but it disappeared just as quickly. "What are you doing here?" he asked. I swallowed. "I heard about your mom." He looked away, nodding slowly. "Yeah." Silence stretched between us. This time, it wasn't just uncomfortable, it was heavy. "I'm sorry," I said finally. Jake didn't respond. "I didn't know," I continued, my voice cracking slightly. "About everything. I was just being an idiot. I didn't mean." "I know," he interrupted. That caught me off guard. "I know you didn't mean it," he said quietly. "But she's all I've got, man." The words hit harder than anything else. "All I've got." I sat down beside him, not knowing what to say. For once in my life, I didn't have a joke. No sarcasm, no easy way out. Just silence. After a while, he spoke again. "I didn't tell anyone," he said. "I didn't want people to treat me differently." I nodded. "You don't have to do this alone." He let out a small, humorless laugh. "Yeah? Then why does it feel like I am?" I didn't have an answer. But I knew one thing. "I'm here now," I said. And this time, I meant it. Over the next few days, everything changed. I started showing up, really showing up. I brought Jake food when he forgot to eat. Sat with him during long hospital hours. Helped him catch up on schoolwork. Sometimes we talked. Most of the time, we didn't. And that was okay. One evening, a nurse approached us. "Family only," she said gently. Jake hesitated, then looked at me. "He's with me," he said. It was a small thing. But it meant everything. A few nights later, things took a turn. Jake's mom's condition worsened. Machines beeped louder. Doctors moved faster. The air felt heavier, like it was pressing down on all of us. Jake stood by her bedside, gripping her hand tightly. "I don't know what to do," he whispered. I stepped closer, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You're doing it," I said. "You're here." He shook his head, tears finally spilling over. "It's not enough." I didn't try to argue. Instead, I said something I hadn't planned. "She knows you love her." He looked at me, searching my face like he needed to believe it. "And you're not alone anymore," I added. For the first time in days, he nodded. That night, something shifted. Not in the hospital. But in us. The stupid joke that started everything? It didn't disappear. It never would. But it stopped being the end of our story. It became the beginning of something else. Something real. Jake's mom stabilized a few days later. It wasn't a miracle. She still had a long road ahead. But it was enough. Enough for hope. The day she was moved out of critical care, Jake and I sat outside the hospital, the sun warming our faces. "You know," he said, "you're still an idiot." I laughed. "Yeah, I know." He nudged me with his shoulder. "But, thanks." I shrugged, trying to play it cool, but my chest felt lighter than it had in weeks. "Don't mention it." He looked at me, a small smile forming. "Seriously," he said. "You showed up. That matters." I nodded, realizing something simple but powerful. Sometimes, it's not about saying the right thing. It's about being there when it matters most. I made a joke about my friend's mom. And it almost cost me everything. But in the end, it taught me something I'll never forget. Words can hurt in ways you don't see. But showing up, with kindness, with patience, with heart, can heal more than you think. And sometimes, the worst moments in life are the ones that teach you how to be better.